Now you can.
Oh, hello.
Hey there, gang. Welcome back to Twitch Tuesdays at 2 p.m. I think I got it right. I feel like Drew would be proud of me.
You finally did it.
Yeah. As you know, I'm your co-host, Dominic Camargo, and with me I have...
Mimi Black.
Howdy.
Howdy.
And as we've been talking the past couple of weeks, we've wanted to introduce a new segment called... Wait, what did we call it? Squeaking with Squirrels. I don't remember what...
Oh, no, we were tossing around a bunch of...
No.
There was Between Two Squirrels.
Yeah.
There was the Squirrel Spotlight.
Squirrel Spotlight. That's... sorry for the yelling. Squirrel Spotlight is what we were settling on,
Yes.
and that's what we have for you today. So with that, we're going to bring in one of our testers that we have in-house. Isias, why don't you come on? Come say hello to the gang.
QA tester.
All right, QA is an important part.
Yes. Which stands for Quality Assurance.
Yeah, for those that didn't know that, fun fact.
Right.
Isias, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long you've been in the industry, what you've been up to?
Let's see. I've been in the industry since 2009.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
So yeah.
Good deal. How long have you been in Blind Squirrel?
Almost going 2 years.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Almost congrats.
Yeah.
Cool. So a lot of what we're going to do today, we're going to talk to Isias, kind of figure out his background, get to know what he does on a day-to-day basis, as well as how he gotten into the industry, and kind of like what he wants to do for his path and what he's going to try and do to get there. So I guess to kind of just start off, Isias, can you tell us like where you were at before the industry and maybe what made you want to get in?
Were you a big gamer before?
So before I actually was in the industry, I was actually in the Navy for 4.5 years.
Mm.
While in the Navy, I just hit me that I actually wanted to do something in the entertainment industry. I was thinking originally film, but then after looking at some things in school, I saw Westbrook College, which doesn't exist anymore.
That's right. I'm sure it had nothing to do with that commercial.
No.
Are you aware of that commercial, Amy? Amy. I don't know where Amy came from. Mimi.
Why, yes, Dane, I am. Actually, no, I'm not. I don't know why I said that.
There's a great college that advertised game development,
I think it was Westwood actually.
But I mean, like, what were they advertising? Like, it wasn't even.
They were advertising testers.
Yeah.
The commercial focused on testers.
Yeah.
So it was a game-based college?
Yeah. Someone's mocking that I said
Yes.
Amy. But the best part was they had this commercial that was like mid 2000s, maybe early 2000s, of like it's like two guys playing a game. And like they just come over and like they're like, "How's the game going?" He's like, "Oh man, they really need to tighten up these graphics." And it's like that's not a thing. Like no one says like you need to tighten up those graphics. Like you can't. But it's not.
Can't tighten up graphics.
Yes, as it turned out. So that since kind of become. I guess you could say a meme. I don't know. I feel bad saying meme. It's not a meme. And it is a meme.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a big one for a while.
But anyways, that was like a legit college, like that people would go to, and like some people had better success with it than others. It was definitely a for-profit organization, though I believe.
Yes.
So
one of those.
yeah, yeah. So no longer around.
No.
Yeah.
Like
So
Grandma's Boy?
exactly. I said that was going to come up. So you were looking for colleges for that kind of thing, or you weren't? Sorry.
I was. When I was looking around, I'm from Orange, so Orange County.
Local.
So there was a school based in Anaheim. So I was like, you know what? It's close by. Can stay close to home. Let's try that out.
Nice.
So I actually got out of the Navy early to go to school.
Oh, cool.
It was accelerated, so it was like 3 years.
What school was that?
Westwood College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after 3 years, graduated, and then after that, we had a recruiter that worked with the students that graduated, and I got called for Sleepy Giant
Nice.
to work with Activision on the Call of Duty Elite program. So it wasn't testing; it was a game master.
And what did that entail?
Basically, for that, what we did was we set up competitions for the multiplayer events.
Oh, cool.
So we would.
And which Call of Duty was this at the time?
This was Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
3? Yes, Modern Warfare 3.
Okay. That's
So
awesome.
we'd set that up. We'd jump in every once in a while, play around, make sure no one's cheating. We would make sure we'd get like stats, little heat maps, make sure no one's like boosting, no one's trying to. What do you call?
Hack.
Yeah, basically.
Leak hacks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We also had like some weird like photography competitions we'd set up. One was like take a picture with a chicken.
Oh.
So it's just a
In
screenshot
game?
they said. Yes. Some people got creative. Some people had cool little pictures with chicken, because some maps had chickens on them.
Uh-huh.
But then there were some people that would write in bullet holes chicken,
Oh, really?
or use bodies to make the form of chicken.
Just different ways to actually
Yeah,
cook the
yeah.
chicken. That's pretty fun.
So while originally we were like, oh, a chicken, but people expanded on that. We're like, well, you didn't say the actual chicken. It's just
Yeah,
chicken.
just chicken.
So-
Open to interpretation.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So did you play a lot of video games before you
Yes.
decided to
Yeah.
go into video
And like,
games?
and yeah, related. Like, whenever they looked at you for that game master position, what did they identify as like qualifications? Like, because like I think for a lot of our viewers, right? Like, if they're out there and like, man, I play games a lot. Like, I should be able to get in no problem.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't.
Which we do. We do have people apply, and there are
Yeah.
people that just have a serious hardcore gamer background.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are good candidates.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, what more? You know, what does it take? I mean, it's not just playing video games. You have to have an eye for certain stuff or be able to a knowledge of certain things.
So for that interview, it was interesting because it was a bit more of a group interview for that one, but they wanted to focus more on not just playing games, but being able to see little details, like things that people might miss. It's because we're doing mostly anti-cheating things. We're
Okay.
Making sure like no one was cheating. So it was like, well, what would you do to cheat for this type of stuff? And it's like, well, if you could do that, can you catch that? And it's like, oh, okay,
Right.
yeah.
So
Break the game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
it was
yeah.
it was like a good step to QA basically.
Yes, yeah. So it was no intention of actually joining QA right after that. So with the contract, Sleepy Giant got cut by Activision. So they did lay off quite a few people, but Activision decided to just move along about like 10% of us over to their QA department.
Oh, nice.
So we just got basically merged into QA.
Oh, that's
Okay.
nice.
And that was during Black Ops 2.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah. So then that's when I started my QAing career.
Nice. And so going into QA, had you had any prep from school, like for how to do things? Because like, I think even just the base element of what QA might be unfamiliar to a lot of people watching in the sense of like what you do on a day-to-day basis.
So no, not really. There is no college that really teaches you how to be QA, because when you go to this college, they're trying to teach you how to be like engineers, designers,
Right.
Yeah.
artists, and stuff like that. But when you go to QA, as long as you have people that are understanding that new people may be joining and they have good communication skills, they're able to teach you, hey, this is the process you're going to need to know. I started in as a publisher QA.
Mm.
So publishing QA is different than developing QA.
Yes. You're usually our enemy.
Yeah. So at that point, it was a little easier transition because we're going more into, hey, just look for things that are broken.
Yeah.
Find them, bug them, make sure they're not already in the database. Then they'll give you little test cases, things, checklists, and basically, okay, hey, so just focus on these checklists and see if any of the stuff's broken, see if anything else is broken.
So they have a list already.
With Activision, yes, since this game basically just recycled from their original
Right,
Call of Duty,
right.
but they just altered a little. So they already had a good set test cases, a good idea of what you should be looking for. So it was simple to just go, hey, this is what we need you to do.
Yeah.
Because they've done it so many times already before. So it wasn't like a from the ground learning experience on, oh, hey, what are we looking for exactly?
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we
Right.
already know what you need to look for. Here it is.
Yeah.
So when you are starting on a game that doesn't have those things laid out, when it's just you guys on your own, what are you, where do you start? Like what is your, okay, day one, I need to look for bugs. Do you just start playing, or do you have your own certain set list things of things? to go
So
after.
if it's a brand new project, usually you have to know what the game is about.
Mm.
You have to know the mechanics. You have to understand what's happening in the game. Like, what's the purpose of the game?
So is that maybe the fun part that people think of like, you get to sit down and play the game? Is that when you get to do that, like on a new project like that?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
As long as the game's pretty stable, yeah.
Yeah.
So the last project at City Armor Warfare was a lot from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
I started right when they started to put into more of a streamlined, things were functional.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of test case creations, a lot of things we had to figure out what was working so we could actually test
Oh,
and
okay.
actually bug things up.
Right.
A lot of communication, because that was more developer QA, so we actually had more communications with designers,
Yeah.
artists, and we can actually ask them, hey, is this what we're looking for? And then we get the answer, then we can put that into our actual test cases.
Yeah. I mean, and no,
oh.
go ahead, please.
Well, no, I was gonna say, you say test case. What is a test case? Is that?
Basically, it's just a checklist of specific areas. Like,
Okay.
you can make a test case for the whole game, but that would take forever. Like, you want to break it down to, like, movements or, like...
So, like, can you give an example from either Call of Duty or Armored Warfare of, like just a simple idea of what a test case would be?
We'll go with Armored Warfare, because for Armored Warfare, you have tanks, but each tank had their own passes they had. Like, each individual tank had their own... It was a uniform, hey, does it move? But we also had, like, armor values.
Mhm.
We had penetration of rounds to armor.
Yeah.
So it was all unique, but the same, I guess you could say. The same format, but unique per tank. So we would
You
have
had to test that for each tank.
Yeah.
Like if some
And
has a
different
weaker
elements.
penetration value, like you have to like make sure it's like, okay, this tank shouldn't be able to like pierce this tank,
Yeah,
basically. Okay.
and different elements too. For instance, like when you start putting camos on different tanks,
Yeah.
that's more visual. But that could break other things. Like models could be missing things because it wasn't set up for that camo.
Oh, yeah.
So while, yeah, you can make one encompassing test case for one vehicle, you need to break it up. If not, you're going to miss a lot of things.
Yeah. Man, that's really intense.
So checklist, yeah, test case.
And so, like, how long does that take? I mean, is that just one person doing one test case, or like?
Most of the time, it would break up one tank. If we had time, we would try to put at least 5 people onto one vehicle at a time in that area.
Dang! And how many vehicles were in the game at the time?
Oh God.
You should.
There was
I don't know
a
if you can
lot.
see his eyes from that angle of the camera, but his eyes just were like, "Woo!"
There was a lot, and it just kept on growing and growing.
Yeah.
Right.
And then new mechanics to get introduced, which could break older tanks, and then we have to go
Oh
back
my
to those
goodness.
old ones.
Is that one of the most tedious things that
Yes.
you've had to do? That was because that was going to be one of my questions. Like, does this job get tedious? And
So,
what are some of your least favorite things?
Yeah.
To have to
surprisingly, and a game that can try your patience depending on who you are, Call of Duty.
I believe that.
First-person shooters in general, especially first-person shooters that have multiple guns, multiple upgrades to them.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, you're standing, you just have everyone line up, and you just shoot. Just shoot them. Make sure they die properly. Make sure that if they have a special ability to respawn, that they respawn properly.
Wow.
And it's basically all day. That's all you're doing all day.
Oh my goodness.
Like, for instance, you can get skins in Call of Duty. Each weapon has their own skins. You can do like so many headshots, so many
Yeah.
kills. So that's literally what you do all day. You have to unlock everything.
Ugh.
Okay, headshot, which also can include towards like normal kills. But
Yeah.
still, you have to like,
Like-
okay, did all the headshot kills, and let me do 500 normal kills.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my-
Yeah, hard pass.
Thanks.
And is that, thinking about that too, and I take it back, there's like 50 things I want to ask, but like just since we're on the numbers thing, like how like, like several games have so many achievements talking about
Yeah.
like do you have to test those too? Like,
Yes,
like
that's
you have
another,
to get,
that's also for Call of Duty. That was something because that's part of the achievements as well.
oh my
for
gosh.
So every
Call of, yeah, because each skin does have like to unlock all the diamond skins. That's like an achievement, or, So you have to unlock everything. And this includes zombies. This includes campaign.
Oh.
This is multiplayer.
How long does something like that take? Like, how long do you generally get for?
The process starts almost right away. To
Right
just
when they're
unlock
building
portions
stuff
of
and
it.
they just give
But
it.
to be able to unlock basically from start to end, to make sure it functions properly, you could probably do, if done properly, it can be done like in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Oh.
But that's also
Not if I'm
if,
playing.
yeah. But that's
2
also
years.
like that's 5 to 6 days a week. That's
Yeah, that's insane.
8, 10, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
That's continuous.
And if it's any consolation, like even talking about, do we have some fun comments?
Well, yeah, we as Owen said, I'm currently QA testing a first-person shooter. Can't confirm. But
Firefox
I'm
518,
yes.
thanks.
I was on achievement duty on one project. Had probably 40 accounts to do.
No,
those
hard
checks.
pass. And that's gonna say, Samantha, you brought up, you brought up
Dwayne.
you brought up the idea of like, like you yourself, like, just because you don't play a ton of first-person shooters, like that would take forever. But even myself, like as a dev, I suck at playing games. Like I'm so
Right.
thankful to have QA because like they know actually how to play the game and they can get me where I need to be to like fix bugs or like
Right.
test out a feature, things like that. So like
I
it's
think someone answered about 100 tanks.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was-
yeah.
Someone I worked with. So.
What I mean, I can't imagine what something like some sort of open world game. I mean, like something like I play Skyrim a lot, so that's where my mind goes
So I
to. But
have actually
even Red Dead Redemption and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that,
right.
like these huge where you
Yeah.
have so many options of things.
I have not tested it. So, in a way, I'm glad. 'Cause I'm pretty sure those ones are a pain.
No one here develop an open world game, please, for the sake of our QA testers.
I'm kind of curious. This is a fun segue because it's sort of been brought up in chat about Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
So have you both seen that film?
I saw
Yeah.
it. I don't remember like anything from
Okay,
it. I
sure.
probably saw it like high in high school, and I don't have any recollection of Grandma's Boy.
As you should with that movie. I
Other
feel
than
like I
the
feel like
case, I remember the case of the VHS.
yeah, exactly
Yeah.
on VHS. For me, like I feel like the movie is about half right. Like there's some things about development that are way off. There's some things that they get. For me, what they got right was some of the people. Like there is that lead engineer that was a complete dick, and that can definitely
Yeah.
happen from time to time. And he's like just being a jerk to other people. But I'm curious, like a big part of Grandma Boy is obviously like their QA, their testing. How recent? Do you recall the film well?
Oh, yeah, actually,
Okay, we have Star Wolf saying, "I laughed my butt off, but that is so not how QA."
So that's exactly what I was going to ask. Yeah, like how similar is something like Grandma's Boy to actually being in QA?
It's a little funny. Because, it is an extreme on how QA functions, basically.
Yeah.
It has the value of, like, the core understanding of it, but then
Yeah.
it just overdoes it.
Same. Like on
Well,
the,
I mean, it's like a slapstick comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be over the top.
and in the same way on the engineering side, like there's the bit where the lead engineer is like working on like some character and like he's just like working, and like all of a sudden he makes a change and the head just falls off. And it's like that would never happen. That's not like a thing. Like, but the idea that like he's working, and then some other new bug gets introduced
Right.
just from trying to solve something.
Yeah.
That is definitely like true. It's
Like,
just,
almost has the same thing instead of the head just does another thing.
yeah, exactly. It's just not like, oh, the head just fell off. Yeah, exactly. And so there's clearly people in here who've seen QA or seen
Or in
seen
QA.
yeah, or in QA and seen Grandma Boys. I'm like, no, just you're wrong. So just to give a heads up for anyone watching that maybe is interested, be prepared. Not at all like Grandma's Boy.
So what would, if someone wanted to get into this, industry, what would you say are things that are integral for them to know, to have on their resume? Like if they don't have any gaming background, because we have had people come in with a resume just saying, hey,
Yeah.
I'm a gamer, and I've had a friend apply and who's a huge gamer, and kind of, I asked someone in QA, it was like, well, make sure that they have their resume full of what games they've played. It's more of like, what have you played? What your knowledge more of is the game. So I'm wondering what you would say like are really important things for someone to come in knowing.
So I was in a weird, unique situation when I actually got in. Like, I'd actually never, like when I went into QA, I actually never had an interview.
Right.
They just shifted me right over.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and by the time I had my second interview, I already had gaming experience, so I didn't have to really focus on
Right.
what that was. But working at other companies, because for a long time, QA, like even QA had like 2 years experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Like as a needed. But
Yeah.
I
As a
noticed,
what? I'm sorry.
Like needed.
Oh,
2
needed.
years.
2 years experience.
So
But
it's one of
then-
those things like, how do you get in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it started shifting where it became more of a suggestion, and then it became more of like it doesn't even show up. Like I've seen some like they never even talk about needing like experience for QA, and that's just a shift in the industry. It looks like it's just that they're understanding that with the changes that games are happening, we need new perspectives on
And yeah, there
how
might
to
be
test things.
some
Yeah.
younger, eyes out there that are doing stuff that people that have, in the industry are like, hey, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
so.
I've known people who have joined QA with no gaming, really no gaming experience at all.
Whoa.
Like they've never really, they've played games here and there.
Do you know why they got hired? Like, was there some other attribute or skill
It's
that?
usually based off the company. The company says, you know what, we need fresh eyes. We need someone we can basically more mold
Oh,
into a
yeah.
QA
What they
we
want.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really
at
interesting.
that time.
So it's kind of just luck of the draw, it sounds like.
Yeah, it can be.
Well, I'm sure when they interview, they're looking for
yeah.
like perceptive.
And that's what I was going to say, though. Like, the
personalities.
things that they should focus on, right, are just kind of like what? I assume communication is big.
Yes.
Okay.
Communication, writing skills.
Oh yeah, I've been told that numerous times.
Yeah.
That you're surprised at how much writing goes into being a QA tester.
And I'll say, as a dev, like, on the business end of his, like, day-to-day, like, if he were to write, like, a bug that I don't understand, I would be livid. And because he's in Dev QA, meaning Dev QA is here in our office, like, he doesn't do that because he respects me and I respect him, so we have a good relationship. But, like, Publisher QA, that's where it gets messy.
Yeah.
And I won't talk about that, but those are fun times. But all that to say, like, I agree, like, having, like, really good written communication of, like, how to reproduce a bug, like, that occurs in game, like, just the idea of what the bug is, because sometimes, like, just based on title, I'm like, I don't know what that means.
So when you're going in, you're like going into a program that that the devs can read, saying, just basically typing out like what exactly is happening in the game, a detailed description. Like, do you have code words? Do you have like?
Yes, well, there are terms. Yeah, there are
Okay.
terms. We unfortunately, and everyone uses different terms for different things.
Yeah.
So it gets a little. So then we try
Like
to.
Amy or
Samantha.
So we try to change words, like try to simplify it so it would make sense to anyone who reads it, but sometimes that doesn't help.
Yeah.
So in a way, we try to, like, in the summary, we'll try to put one word, and then in the description, we'll put another word, and then in the steps, we may try to even use another word, just try to hit all key words that anyone can understand.
I mean, it helps. 'Cause, like,
Hopefully.
yeah, because, like, I still, like, and part of it's because, like, I think you guys as QA, you guys will always have more experience with the game, more so than the other devs. Just because, like, the other devs,
yeah.
like, we're, like, focused on just, like, one or two features. We're only seeing part of the game. And we don't see the larger context of maybe how we get to that feature or what happens after that feature. Like, we don't
Yeah.
always get to
No,
see
that
like,
happens
pieces of the
sometimes,
puzzle.
yeah.
So, like, it's like if they don't give us the context, we're, like, lost.
Right.
It's like, what? What is that thing? Like,
Yeah, Starwolf said, I hired a few people who didn't play games, but
Oh,
were
interesting.
detail-oriented and could communicate well.
mm.
And sometimes that's really all it's needed, because you can train someone to be QA.
Right.
When I was at Obsidian, I did the training. I did part of the training. Like, I started as part, and then I started taking more over the training. So
Yeah.
any new hires would come in, I would basically start them off with basic training, and then we had different departments for, like, vehicles, worlds, and stuff.
Okay.
And then we hand them over to them, saying, hey, yeah, help them out, try to figure out how to test the vehicles.
Nice.
But sometimes it is easier to hire someone who knows almost nothing,
Right.
because it's easier to mold.
They're not going to have, like, a bias of, like,
Yeah.
I know what I need to do. Don't
Yeah.
tell me what I need to
Yeah,
do.
they're set in their ways.
Like, yeah.
Thing.
I'm really curious, random comment here from BloodFox88. He said, or she said, QA doesn't usually have their own desk. Have you had that? I mean, here at Blind Squirrel, everyone does. Mimi does, I do, Isias does. We all have our own desks.
So the only time I've never had my own desk was as a publisher QA.
Okay.
Okay, so the
So
publisher
it's
one
basically
first.
just one long desk like this,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's, computer tower, monitor, system, another monitor for the system, and someone right next to me, someone across me. Yeah, but
And each of you just come in at a different seat?
no, we usually have our assigned seats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but it was never icy. Your
Yeah.
space wasn't your
It
space.
wasn't your
It's
space.
like
yeah.
you're sharing your part of the desk, I have mine. But
And
it's
there's
not
usually someone in front of you, on the other side of you as
Oh,
well.
wow.
Just all, as many people that can fit on one desk as
Yeah.
possible.
okay, wow.
Or table, should I say.
And definitely here, because like we do a lot of console testing too, and yeah, BloodFox88 is like backing you up there. Yeah, it's publisher QA seems to be the case.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes sense. Like for dev, we need them all over the place sometimes, and just like the same setup and stuff. So it's easier if they just have their own space, just like everyone else.
Right.
I feel like I cut off a question that you were gonna ask, and now I don't remember.
Well, I don't either, so.
I think something else I'm interested. So we talked about a little bit about getting in, but a big part of QA is a lot of people see it as a way to like get into the industry so they could do.
That was actually going to be my next thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a good an entry level position.
Right, to like either become design, engineering, art, or in your case,
I'd like to do recruiting.
yeah,
Oh,
that's such a fun like mix because like a lot of QA usually wants to do one of the other fields. It's nice to have someone that like I kind of relate to because I do a lot of recruiting whenever we have the need for it, and just like what made you want to do recruiting even?
Just communicating with people. I like communicating with people. I like to help people out. When I was at Obsidian, when people first got hired on, I like to see where they'd like to go.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can point them to the right people to make sure that it's like, hey, you should talk to this person. They may be able to, like, I can't promise anything, of course, but it's like, hey, if you talk to them, they may be able to help you go into the right direction, tell you what you need to get where you want to go.
Right.
Nice.
So after doing that for a while, I was like, you know what, basically, maybe I should just start recruiting or trying to go into recruiting because it's similar, but not,
Yeah.
because they already know what they want. Now I just
Yeah.
have to see if it's a proper fit.
Yeah, for sure. I think something that I'm curious about too maybe is just the idea that, like, I guess coming in to QA, I assume this will be different per company, but how often, just so people out there know, how often does it actually work out where someone's able to switch from QA to another department? Like, have you seen that be more successful at some places than others, or?
It does depend on the company.
Okay.
So Obsidian
Mm-hmm.
was actually pretty good at trying to help people grow out of QA department.
Nice.
As long as you knew what you wanted and as long as you worked for it,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't mind helping you trying to actually grow out of it.
Yeah.
Other companies, not so much.
Mhm.
Some other companies are like, no, you're QA.
That's it.
That's your path
Yeah.
to life.
And
Yeah.
they're like, we'll help you, but then they don't help you.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I was amazed when I started here how many of our employees are people that
Starting
work their
from
way
QA.
up from QA.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of
we've had
and-
quite a few.
Sometimes you just have to hit the right company. Some
Right.
companies want to help you out. Some don't care. Some want you for a job, and that's what
Yeah.
they expect your job to be.
And I think, I mean, just to speak for like a studio level, like the reason we like pulling people in from QA is because they already know our workflow. Whereas even bringing in someone who maybe has more technical education or even just more potential, like as a entry level, in this case I'll go with engineer because that's what I know best. It's same thing about the bias. Like I don't want someone coming in as an entry level engineer thinking like, oh well, in school we did it this way, so I know how it's done. Versus like someone who's come, like the people we've promoted out of QA, they're very much like, teach me more. And so it's much more easier to mold and it's much more like, they have.
And everyone's kind of on the same page. with
Exactly.
Stuff, and yeah. So, and I imagine once you, because we've had producers that have gone from QA.
Yeah,
and so
we've
once
had
you
everyone. We've had
work your
artists,
way
designers.
Through, through all these things, I imagine like it's useful to have that base knowledge of how a game actually works and what
Yeah.
you're looking for once you get to one of the other positions, and then you can say, oh, I know what's happening here
Yeah,
at this spot.
QA works with everyone basically, so
Yeah.
they get a good understanding of what they're doing. Like after a while, you start going, oh, okay, hey, I think I know what this issue is, and then you can talk to whoever's
Right.
like, okay, I'm not sure if this is right, but I think this may be the issue, and they can look at it and can tell you you're wrong, or hey, that would help out. That
Yeah.
actually
Thank you.
saves me a lot of work.
And even like, for instance, I work with Dustin, who is a designer right now, but he came out of our QA.
Right.
And like, even like, he literally sits next to me at our pod. So like, I forget sometimes he's not in QA anymore. But even as a designer, he's incredibly helpful because like, he's doing his own thing, but I'm like, Dustin, where can I test this at? And I'm like, oh crap, I forgot, he's not in QA. But he's like, no, it's fine, like I got you. It's like, just do this and do that. And it's like, and now, like, for instance, being in the editor, like he knows what I'm talking about at a technical level.
Right.
So like, he's actually able to come and like, now I'm the one who doesn't know anything. And he's like, no, do this, and then you can get, I'm like, oh, thank you, like I didn't know that's what I needed to do. I'm in QA. Yeah, so that's really common too.
Design,
But Rico the gamer says, I'm in QA and I'm doing a little design. We've definitely done that with a number of our QA of like, we kind of test the waters. It's like, okay, we need you to test this game. You still need to test the game, but in your free time, you can design
Right.
art,
Well, it's almost like
engineering.
like a built-in internship.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're a paid internship. It's like, okay, you've got your normal workload, but
Mhm.
you're also going to have a couple hours or some time, here and there to basically be on the clock and being, taught how to do another position.
Yeah.
And eventually you get to know enough and you move on to another position that you wanted.
Yeah. And I think in Isias' case, like we were just talking about this recently, it's like, I'd love to help him out whenever we get to that size. It's just like right now, just based on our size alone, we don't need a dedicated in-house recruiter. We usually outsource that, and only in periods of when we need those big hiring. So it's like something that, we usually reach out to recruiters off-site, that type of thing. So, but one day we'll get there, and it's like number one right there.
Our in-house recruiter.
Yeah. Let's see. What else did we have on the list
Well,
here?
we covered a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you have any like other tips that we didn't cover that would be for people starting out or wanting to break into this that have no idea what to do?
I don't know. It's if you're trying to get if you're going to QA, again, you don't need to have gaming experience. You don't need to be the best gamer,
Right.
but you just gotta be motivated because this job does get tedious.
Yeah.
You know, morale can drop, so it's good to try to.
Doing the same thing over
Yeah,
and over and
right.
over again.
It's good to try to keep your spirits up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I think even I've been trying to push the stigma of it's not like what you think it is in terms of just you get to play games all day.
Right.
Like it's very much more technical. It's much more like you have to and in some cases like you're saying tedious, right? Like make sure your character doesn't run through the wall, right? Like you have to run through the same wall 50 times in one day. Like I can't imagine that actually being exciting
Right.
of just doing that same task.
Well, and it's not like a workflow thing. You're not playing the game.
You're
It's
right,
you're doing a portion, a 2-second portion
Same thing.
of a game over and over again.
I picked this thing up and it broke. Okay, let me do it again. I didn't break this time. Well, let me do it a few more times. Okay, it broke again.
Those are the best. Oh my gosh. So in industry, a lot of bugs that come in, they have a repro rate, a reproduction rate. How many times can you actually repro the bug? And exactly like Isias is mentioning, this bug happens 3 out of 10 times. So in those type of bugs, it's okay, I don't care too much, because you're not going to see it that often. As a dev, I'm going to choose to prioritize other stuff, right?
And at QA, we're thinking, okay, this is breaking.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Yeah, and I'm eh. But the best is when it comes in, it's a high priority bug, A level priority must fix.
Yeah.
And it's repro is 1 out of 5 times. It's seriously, that is important because 20% is still a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just I hate okay, let's see if it happens. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if it happens.
And then it usually comes back to us.
Hi,
Can
Mike.
you guys repro this?
Yeah. It's oh, is Mike on?
Yeah.
Hey,
You said
how's it going, buddy?
if you like breaking things, QA will be a lot of fun for you.
That is true. Oh, and what did Rico the Gamer say right before that? Enjoy what you do. Not a lot of places pay you to play games. Yeah, that's very true.
It is true.
I think that's what you're saying about attitude, right?
Yeah.
It's basically just you need to have it on straight. Anything else maybe you'd caution anyone else coming in against things they shouldn't do?
Or be thinking going.
Yeah.
I would imagine someone coming in thinking, I'm just gonna play video games all day and not have to write or do anything else.
I think a lot of misconceptions also is that a lot of people join QA thinking that they're just going to be working on them by themselves to find bugs or to break the game or to play the game. A lot of it's actual teamwork. A lot of it is, hey, I broke this. Can anyone else do the same thing?
Oh, okay.
Because that helps with time management.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you stuck on there. Probably much longer if you get someone.
Yeah, you need to be useful.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there on the one bug and it's hey, test other shit.
It's hey, try it a little bit, have someone else try it.
Yeah.
Find out as much as you can, and then move on. Time management is a big plus, and teamwork. Knowing that you need to work as a team.
And then what about and then of course you work with the other devs too, I imagine, right? There's a whole, and that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys get thrown into that probably worse than any other dev, because usually engineers mostly work with engineers, occasionally other artists. Same thing for artists. Usually mostly work with artists, then maybe another engineer here or there.
Yeah, a lot of times it's finding a bug and hey, who's this going to?
Yeah.
And
Whose fault is this?
Yeah.
trying to find out something. And sometimes it's hey, I didn't break it, and then you go to the other person. Okay. Is this your responsibility? No.
QA just gets to accuse people of shit all day long. Did you do this?
And then thrown right back at
You're
them.
bad.
What about, I feel a lot of the reason people might want to go apply to a particular QA position is because they either really like the game or they like the company.
A lot of times it's for the company.
Yeah.
And that's what I've noticed. A lot of times a lot of people like to apply to positions, for QA at least, basically just for the company itself.
And is there any caution, I imagine someone who would do that would be let's say fanboy status or fangirl status of they absolutely oh my god, I've loved all of your games, you've released all these, you released Parking Simulator 2016 through 27, right? Like that type of thing, is it okay to have that enthusiasm of freaking them out? Or should they be treat it as professional job interview, suit and tie type of thing.
So it's funny. Every time I go in with a suit and tie, I always get made fun of and say, "Okay, you didn't have to dress like that."
That's correct. Don't ever to game development job. Never wear a
Suit
tie. Like never wear a suit.
I
Every
wear
time
suit, I wear like a tie and a
Yeah,
shirt,
yeah.
some slacks. I always get made fun of every time.
As
I'm like,
see that happens.
But it's an interview, so I'm gonna try a little.
There is appreciation. It's not like that actually counts against you. It's just know you're gonna get harassed for it at some point.
Right.
But back to like going with enthusiasm, like working on Call of Duty games. Yeah, a lot of people went in going, "Yeah, this is my first job. I'm gonna work on Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty." And then again, once you get to that tedious, just repetitive over and over again, well, yeah, sometimes it dies. Sometimes people go, "I just don't ever want to play this game."
Rico the gamer says you shouldn't QA games you like. You won't like them after. Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, but a company I did work, not because I liked the games, because I did want their name on my resume, was Naughty Dog. So they were hiring me. And I'm like, you know what? I would like their name on my resume.
Yeah.
So I went, and I was like, okay, got the job, started off as one project, then they shipped us over to another project. Worked at the tail end of another project, then I'm like, you know what? This is too far away from home. I'm applying somewhere else. I worked here long enough to get
This
my
is
name on
nowhere near Orange County.
Worked here long enough to get their name on my resume, got
Yeah.
like 2 projects under my belt, I'm good to go.
Nice. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you do, if you want a better position or better pay, sometimes you have to.
But the enthusiasm helps.
Oh yeah, no, it does.
Okay, cool.
No. While working at Naughty Dog, like it was long hours, but seeing how they make games, seeing the process and everything, and all the little details they put in, it is a little inspiring, a little like, you know, you're like in awe almost, and like how much is put into this game. We're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is
Yeah.
every little detail is in, like sound, and the ambiance of the lights. You're like, there's so much in this game.
Well, especially when you're spending so much time on such like, you know, in small chunks.
Yeah.
You can really see all the detail
Yeah.
going on.
Part of the reason I ask is because, like, you know, like on the engineering side, when I get resumes and I interview people, like, it's like pulling teeth. Like, I'll be like, you know, they might be from a non-industry company. Like, I remember someone from like Xerox. I can't even remember. Some boring ass company. Sorry if you work at Xerox. But like, they came to me and, you know, we were doing the interview. Like, they had a decent resume in terms of stuff, in terms of skill, but like no projects relating to games and stuff like that. And we started talking, it's like, so why do you want to come into games? Like, because I care about, like, I want you to enjoy programming games, because if you don't, generally there's less, for software engineering, there's generally less pay in games than there is if you work for a company like Xerox, or literally any other software company. So the passion for games is needed, because otherwise you're going to be unhappy.
Also, like QA, same thing. Like you're playing, you are like you're playing games, but you're writing stuff all the damn time too. You know, but you.
Oh, writing stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but if you like, I know people love games when I see them at lunch playing games.
Yeah.
On their breaks playing games.
Oh yeah, so many
Right?
people in the studio, like you're playing or working on games all day,
Yeah.
and their lunch break is playing more games.
Yeah.
So
After work. playing
that's
more games.
commitment.
But
Yeah.
there are people that go, man, I just don't want to play any more games right now. I just want to relax or
Chillax.
something. Yeah, which is still okay too, but that could be a sign of getting burnt out.
Yeah.
Right.
This is.
And that's why I mentioned it, though, because, like, in that interview, like, I was trying to pull teeth out of this guy. He's like, yeah, I play games a lot. I'm like, really? Like, and I just was thinking, like, you would have done a project on the side. That's usually a big telltale.
Yeah.
And, like, so finally, like, pulling teeth, he found, he's like, yeah, you know, on the side, I played this MMO, and I wrote this whole, like, min-max, like, Excel spreadsheet that did this, and I had a tool that it went into, and I'm like, why isn't this on your resume? Like, it's almost like people don't realize, like, it doesn't have to be professional experience for it to apply to whatever you're doing.
See, and that's, like, I would never think that.
Yeah.
And I've always been told that, yeah, it's got to be professional, but,
Yeah, see,
you know.
and that's not the case. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So that's why I asked. Like, I didn't know if, like, for QA enthusiasm mattered. I figured it was always helpful. Because for us on the engineering side, it definitely does. Like, I very much look for enthusiasm.
Well, now that you bring it up, also, there's always opportunities for focus testing.
And how is that different from QA?
So focus testing, you're looking to break the game. Like, you
Mhm.
are looking, playing the game, you're just making sure things are not broken and stuff like that. You're not, as a focus tester, you're not writing the issues. You have someone observing that's pointing things out.
Oh.
But you are getting basically the first part of that done. You are playing the game that may not be too stable.
Yeah.
You're trying to see what's broken.
And is
it
that
helps the designers out, helps the engineers out to figure out, oh hey, this is broken. Okay, cool, let's fix this before.
And is that a full-time, like, role?
No, that's mostly like 2 days out of the week, and it's like 4 hours, 3 hours.
And is that something that someone can apply for by itself? Like, is that something like where companies are like, hey, we need people to play the game? Like,
Yeah, sometimes companies will put out listings saying, hey, we need focus testers for your upcoming title.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, someone says that the focus testing is when you have people come off the street and play the game while you survey them.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Swamp
word
Shaman.
search.
Thank you, Swamp Shaman. It's very wise of you to bestow upon us.
I like that.
Because I remember at Naughty Dog we had some focus testing. We brought random people in, like they signed up for it. I think they even got paid for a little bit for it too. So they signed up for it, and we're literally just standing behind them while they're playing.
Like taking taking notes. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell are they?
basically,
It's like, Jesus, they're breaking everything.
See, I'd be good at that because I wouldn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, run around.
I've done the same thing. Like back when I was in grad school, I played this game. I don't know if you guys remembered it. It was for Xbox 360. There was a Star Wars Connect game, and had like 3 or 4 different modes. And there's like they had like one of the modes was basically like just dance, where like the symbols come on the the dance moves come on the screen, and you have to like match them.
Right.
They just had Star Wars names, like you're doing the Minoc, which is like a space bird, or you're doing like the I can't even remember. There's like a Boba Fett, which was like flamethrowers, and I can't even remember. The point is. But this is like yes.
Okay.
But they had the mode, and they wanted like the crowd cheering you on. So like you're doing your dance moves, and just constantly in the background was like woo, woo, woo. Like they just had one sound effect, and I was like, I can't focus. Like during the playtest, I'm like, I can't focus on dancing because that piece of shit sound is just like killing me. He's like, yep, we know. Like it's like he already knew. He's just taking notes. He's like, we know. We know.
Focus test get paid in donuts, and then he's asking, was it the 3 p.m.?
yeah, and it was.
Thank you.
Good note there from Series. Focus touchers get paid in donuts. Apparently not real currency. Talking about enthusiasm though, something else, since you're a human being and a gamer yourself, what are some of your favorite games? What are stuff you like playing?
So I liked all the Metal Gear games. Honestly.
Oh yeah,
I
dude,
did
those
like
are
all
dope.
of them, even 2. A lot of people don't like 2. I like 2.
See, and I didn't jump on the bandwagon until 3, 4, something like that. I missed 1 and 2, honestly.
One of the games I actually did want me to get into gaming in the industry was Metal Gear Solid.
Damn, son.
Yeah. So I liked the storytelling. I liked the gameplay, the visuals, and everything. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and I have to say, as someone who I usually hate story-based games. So something like Metal Gear seems really daunting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are just movies. Those are just visual movies. But at the same time, it's the only game where I actually watch the cinematics.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go pop my popcorn and it's like, all right, our cinematics, here we go. But I love that game. It's ridiculous. Well, that series.
Yeah.
3, 4, and 5 I absolutely love. Have you played any of them?
I have not.
They're ridiculous. 5 starts out. Spoilers. 5 is also how many years old now?
But
4.
see, I like story-based games.
Yeah, so you should play it because it's ridiculous. So you wake up in a hospital and thanks to real life physics, you have your gown on and your gown flaps everywhere, so you immediately just see your character's ass just right off the bat.
I'm in.
And the best part is because you're it's a stealth game, right? You can get on the ground and prone.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like Kojima just has an obsession with ass because I feel like it started back long ago. And so you've always had anytime you're stealth, the camera's just on his ass. You just see it and he's crawling through. But then in this hospital level where you wake up, you're on the ground, and now because you have the gown on, naked ass. At least the other times you're in your suit or whatever. This is just nope, there's giant naked ass in front of me.
Is that the whole game?
That's the start, and then this fire demon thing comes through.
Oh.
And then the whole thing is you leave the hospital being chased by 4 giant monsters of fire that are all horse-shaped, apocalyptic.
Oh, see, okay, this was different than what I had always thought it was.
Yeah.
I didn't go near. I thought it was something completely
5
different, so I never read
different. 5 is a different animal.
Yeah, 5 is insane.
okay.
There's a mechanic where your horse gets airlifted out via air balloon. So you're riding in some I think, are you in Afghanistan? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And so you're on a horse and then you need to get airlifted out. So they take the horse, you just slap an air balloon on it, and it just whoop.
So it's magic realism type
Yeah,
game?
it's-
Ooh, I like this.
You should play it. It's
I
awesome.
should play it.
Yeah, it's so good.
But I also like RPGs.
Sorry for ruining everything. What? You also like what?
RPGs.
RPGs. Oh, okay. What do you have?
Tales games.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy games.
Didn't one of the Tales just came out, right? Not too long ago.
Vesperia. On Switch, they re-released Tales of Vesperia, which was only on 360.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. If it comes about right now, other than Overwatch, I'm playing my Switch
Yeah, dude,
And
Switch,
so many
right?
different games.
Major comeback, right? Like Switch has been amazing. I don't know about comeback, I guess. Well, from the Wii U.
From the Wii U, yes.
Yeah, like Switch is awesome. I agree. I'm playing my Switch all the time.
Yeah.
I fly a lot, so I'm always using my Switch.
I got a little set, like I bought one of those 8-bit Doe controllers just
I
to
haven't
because
seen
I have
those.
a bag, so I have
Yeah.
little, just everything's all portable.
Yeah. No, and that is the nice thing. It's just so easy to carry everywhere. So you like RPGs. You said you play Overwatch a lot.
Yes.
Do you like FPSs in general, or specifically Overwatch, like team-based?
For the longest time, I wasn't playing FPSs. Like I played Call of Duty for a while. Then I stopped playing because I was doing more like RPG and story-based games. And then Overwatch came along, and then I started playing that. I stopped for about a year, and then got back onto it, and then got one of my friends to join me on the PC version.
Nice.
And we played just basically almost every night.
Oh, that's awesome.
I still haven't played it. I have it.
It's
I
fun.
I know.
You can play as a gorilla.
Oh, cool. Looking forward to it. I just have too many. Right now I'm playing Witcher 3.
Yeah,
So
that game's boss. That game's huge.
I know my problem is I have so little time to play games.
Yes.
I'll start something. Like I also started Shadow of Mordor.
I just started that too.
Yeah, and I've been playing it for like a year or two, and I've been in the same spot because by the time I get another chance to play it,
You
I've
forgot
forgotten how
yeah.
to play it. I'm
Oh,
like, well,
I take it back. I just started Shadow of War.
oh,
the
no, see, I'm
sequel.
like way back at the first
Well,
one.
that doesn't mean I finished Shadow of Mordor. I just got the second one. I'm like, let's play this.
Actually, so.
Oh, does Isias have a favorite or funny bug that he has found? Ooh, that's a great question, Mike.
So it's not a bug I found, but it is a funny bug. So it's Armor Warfare is a weird physics bug
Mm-hmm.
where the tank, if it got hit in a certain angle, the tank would just fly off into the air. So in our in the company in QA we made that little meme, just like constantly read stuff like that.
To victory!
Yeah. Because out of nowhere,
There we go.
The barrel, if I'm correct, the barrel would hit the tank, and then the tank would just go like right up in the air.
That's amazing.
And it wasn't slow. It was just like.
You know, that's a fun question. I feel like, I mean, obviously I'm not in QA, but like, you know, we still see bugs. I'm trying to think of like my favorite. There's been so many projects with so much bad shit. I think more it's like I find funny code. Like it's like someone's like, don't ever use this function.
Oh.
And then it's like, it's commented with that, and then that is like a main function that's used everywhere. It's like, well, that obviously went to plan.
Like some engineers who have like, yeah, they commented out saying don't use or broken.
Yeah, and it's still being used. It's like, well, the game shipped, so. But okay, talking about Overwatch, and we only have like about 10-ish minutes left. We're gonna let Isias show off his favorite game and see how good he is at it. So we'll see how it goes. So let me just get over to the right screen here. Get some in-game audio going too. And we'll see. We'll judge his skill. Maybe ask him some QA-like questions. How would you QA Overwatch?
Yes.
Well, there's actually a lot of bugs on here.
Perfect. Do we have a
That
remote?
you know they won't fix.
A remote.
Is this?
Oh no, he's gonna play with the mouse and keyboard.
Oh, you're doing okay.
We'll just do mystery heroes.
Yeah. We didn't want to affect his actual rankings or anything like that, or so we're doing fun modes. What's can you tell for anyone who doesn't play Overwatch, what's Mystery Heroes?
Basically, just get a random hero every time you die.
Oh, okay, and you have no choice.
No choice.
No choice, perfect. That's fantastic.
That's fun.
But there's
Yeah.
a lot of weird physics bugs on here that they won't fix because if they fix it for one character, it's just gonna destroy
Break all the others.
other
Oh my
characters.
gosh.
Oh, look, I'm a healer right now.
Yeah. Do you have cool skins for everyone?
Yeah, hold on, let me do my dance mode for her. Alright. Wait, where's... Oh, that's my sprites. I don't know. Okay.
For the record, he's on a. Obviously, we're in our streaming room, so he doesn't have his normal setup. So he's on a wireless keyboard, actually, which we don't advertise playing competitive games with.
Oh no, I just did.
Which wasn't even working.
Which part?
The keyboard.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't turn it on. He
Yeah.
was trying to get the keyboard to work.
It's like, why isn't this working? It's like,
oh,
oh,
it's
it's.
starting 50 minutes is broken, and then he found a little switch and.
It's like,
switched
oh,
it.
there it is.
Yeah, there's a little switch on the back.
There's an on switch.
I hope these people aren't too mad at me.
I feel like this is a good comp for defense. Like, even though this is all random.
Oh, we got two verses.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Let's. I don't know if this actually. Oh no, so shoot me.
Doing pretty good.
Oh,
Where did that even come from? Behind?
Oh yeah, there's a May over there in the little. Just
Oh,
hiding.
dang, aced. So let's say, like, if you were to QA Overwatch, and we can talk about, like, say Call of Duty, once you QA a game, does that make you, like, see the game differently? Like, you can still have fun, but, like, are you noticing, like, where stuff happens, or, like...
Yeah, it can help you, because you know certain exploits of certain like, mechanics.
Oh, really?
There was, a weird one for Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So LMGs, they bounce around a lot.
Yeah.
But if you put on a certain site, it just wouldn't bounce. It would no longer, like...
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't a bug. It was intended.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So as long as, so you just knew, like, I'm just getting this. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's an attachment, right?
Yeah, once you get the attachment, I
Yeah.
put in this, and now I'm not going to be going crazy all over the place.
That's awesome. So that's really cool. So in some cases, it actually makes the game a little bit more enjoyable in that sense.
Oops, wrong.
I'd be worried about, like, you just see everything that's wrong. Like one of those things of, like, now that you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh, that stupid thing is just always going to be there. Like,
Oh no. Oh no. Christmas doesn't matter.
oh, that's a fun chore boing. Like the.
Oh, the Christmas one?
Yeah. I haven't seen him yet. Okay, do you know all these characters?
Yes, Brigitte.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brigitte.
Oh no. So there's a character named Symmetra. She always throws these little turrets out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, were those the turrets I wasn't
Yeah,
watching?
those
Okay,
big
I
things,
totally
yeah,
wasn't
big
paying
turrets.
attention. I feel like considering you're talking to us at the same time, you're still doing relatively well. I blame your team. That's how it normally works anyways, right? You just blame your team.
Just a little. Just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
So that was, for Overwatch, one of the reasons why I played it is, do you have to play with other people?
Yeah. Well, you can play with AI,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, it's inherently, there's no part of the game you play without other
Well,
characters.
no, but I
or-
was wondering, like, you don't have to be hooked up to other people to
You
play.
don't
like,
have
you
to.
can play
It's
You
just
don't have to
drop-
communicate with them? No, you don't have to.
Well, no. She means like literally, I mean, because you can do AI matches, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I like I have the game, but I was wondering if I need to.
Oh, someone asked me what my favorite Overwatch hero is. It's a little tough. I play a lot of heroes. Right now, I've been playing a lot of Junkrat. So he's the guy that
Oh,
throws
yeah.
little mines. Yeah.
I actually know who that character is.
Oh, you do?
Yes. I know who some of the characters are. I mean, being, used to work at in the children's department at a bookstore, I had to go through a lot of the official character guides of Overwatch.
Really?
Oh yeah, Overwatch was a huge, like,
At the bookstore?
that was all that we sold, like, in the kids department. Like, a lot, it was that or Minecraft.
Oh.
Overwatch, like, right as I was leaving, Overwatch started to become big, but, like, Minecraft, there's novelizations of Minecraft,
Yeah.
there's, like...
Why?
Yeah, it's an
There's
entire
books
section.
about, like, people...
There's no story in that game.
No, but people make stories. It's like
Ugh.
people made stories. It's
Sorry,
not about-
I feel bad. I should
it's the
promote
only
everyone
thing-
liking video games.
It's the only thing kids are reading now,
That's fair.
as if their video game is.
I know
so,
there's books that show what people have created.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, these were just like chapter books that
Oh,
were
really?
like of a story. And so what I didn't get is like, you're just basically telling a random story, but explaining that they're like pixelated. Like I don't know what, but you just had
It's
Minecraft
random.
character on the cover, and kids would buy it. But yeah, you had character guides for Overwatch and also novelizations and stuff. It was huge. And then my friends that still work there say it's the same thing for Fortnite. It's like video game.
Yeah.
Everything for kids.
Great
Including
character I'm not
books.
good at.
I was gonna say I haven't been good at her since they released her. I like
Rico
McCree.
says Reaper.
Well,
Starwolf,
so Dark
McCree.
Zhao asked who Isias' favorite Overwatch character is, but other people in the chat are responding, which is great. So Rico likes Reaper, Starwolf likes McCree. I like Mai. I think she's great. I'm not good with her, but I think she's fun.
I've been playing her a little bit more.
You know
Oh
what?
God, no!
You know what I really like is the Lucio O's cereal. So at past year's BlizzCon, they actually made a breakfast cereal. Like for real, you can go buy it in stores. It's basically
Huntaro is the best.
Huntaro. Oh, Hamtaro. Yeah. But it's a breakfast cereal they're shaped just like O's, and it's after the character Lucio.
Oh, that's turret. Oh, no, that's turret. Oh, no, that's... Oh, no.
You tried. But they're delicious. It's like kind of like a mix of like Apple Jacks and something else, but they're super tasty. Has anyone else had the cereal? The cereal's really good.
Do they actually sell it, or was it just something you got at the...
So they started, no, but you can sell it. Like go to Target, like it's in stores. You can literally buy it.
Overwatch has its own cereal.
Yep. And it's delicious. It's obviously American and super sugary, right? So for all of our international viewers. Oh, nice boop, bro. Oh, this is Lucio.
Yeah. Oh, got you. Oh, no. What?
You're trapped.
Apparently I'm trapped, but I'm not trapped. I somehow escaped it. Okay, see, that would have been a bug. There are actually odd bugs in here. For like Junkrat, his mines, sometimes the blast doesn't go through doorways.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And playing at work, we've noticed Diva's ultimate, depending on if the payload's at a weird angle, the ultimate can actually go through the payload.
Really?
Because it doesn't recognize that the...
Oh, it's a barrier?
Yeah.
I always just get on the safe side when it's her ultimate. I just run indoors. Or I just assume I'll die.
Dark Sao says he probably laid another trap while you were in the middle of being trapped.
Possibly. Oh, there's a lot of...
So yesterday I asked Isias, like, if he plays this game, like, is he going to focus too much on playing the game and not talking? He's like, no, it's fine. And based on today, we can see that that was all a big fat lie.
What are you talking about? I'm still talking. It's not gonna die for that Hanzo, though.
He pointed out the bug.
No, I'm just messing with him.
Oh, that's a Bastion.
I'm honestly surprised you're playing so well with, like, a random mouse that you didn't have set up and that wireless keyboard.
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah.
I actually have my ultimate already. That Bastion, I probably will end up using it soon.
Are there characters that you think you're just terrible with?
Any like direct fire characters like snipers.
Oh, like McCree or stuff like
yeah,
that?
I'm not very good at that.
Ooh.
All I hear is click, 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 click.
Oh, no.
click.
Oh. Wait,
Nope, I'm stuck.
Is the sound not coming through again, guys? It's coming through for us, so I just assumed it's coming through for you.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's not. I even tested it before the stream. I wonder, it must be the mixer. We'll work on this. As per
It's just
usual
very
with our
low.
stream, I can hear the game sound.
Oh, no,
Oh,
I
okay,
can-
good.
I can-
Yeah. It's just very low. Oh, well, I kept it. Yeah, I wanted it low so that we could hear us talking. Oh, yeah. Well, that's obviously intense. All that APM, bro.
Oh, here's another.
It is, but it's clicking.
Yeah.
Gotta remember where the shift is.
Is it different on that keyboard?
No, because all my when I play, I have
Or your own custom keys?
all my commands are on my mouse.
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that you're even getting kills. You're doing great, champ.
We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any updates for next week. I think it's going to be a little bit more of the same, play some different games. For Forklift, we're still, the team's still doing different stuff, so a little work being done there, but no major updates for Forklift, so we're probably not going to come back to that next week. And we'll just have a normal week next week.
Yes. Anything you would like to add with QA stuff?
Not really. It's like, what
We
is it to
covered it
add?
all.
Yeah, we covered a lot. We really did. If you guys have any questions for anyone out there that's curious about the industry or curious about like getting into games, feel free to message us. Hit us up on Twitter or something like that. I consider it part of my job to kind of handle that type of outreach. So
Yeah, especially schools. He does a lot of outreach at schools and universities,
Mhm.
stuff that's needed for
just our
breaking
community,
into-
and I really think even schools that advertise helping people get into games. They do a lot. They do a lot of great work, but they still miss details. A common example is always when it comes to the resume, not putting game projects on there just because people feel either A, they're unfinished, or B, it's not professional. and neither have to be true for it to be listed on your resume. What I care about is what your passion is and what you want to do. So whether it's QA, engineering, art, design, you should always put any relevant projects, whether they're finished or not, on your resume.
Or whether they were backed by a bunch of money, or whether you're just doing it in the basement
Exactly.
of your house.
Yes, it makes no difference for getting a job. So that kind of stuff is all stuff I'm happy to help with. So like I said, if there's any questions about that, we're happy to help. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitch, obviously. And we'll get back to you whenever we can. Happy to help out. But I think, is it close to 3 actually?
It's 3.
It is 3. All right, well, we're going to sign off. Thanks again, Isias, for
Yes,
swinging
thank
by
you,
today.
Isias.
It was a great time chatting with you.
Thank you everyone who tuned in.
Yeah, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes.
Later.
Bye.